Hello and welcome to the SIGRE Australia Annual Technical Summary. My name is Victor Tan and I will be presenting the updates on Study Committee D2. The purpose of Study Committee D2 is to promote exchange of knowledge and experience in the area of information systems, cybersecurity and telecommunication, specifically in power utilities. These include, but not limited to, topics such as telecommunication asset management, cybersecurity policy and standards, design best practices and implementing resilient telecommunication networks for critical applications such as teleprotection. A major SIGRE event was held in September this year. Due to the COVID-19 travel restrictions, the usual face-to-face meeting format of SIGRE held every 2 years in Paris was substituted by an electronic session or the e-session. In Study Committee D2, the three main topics, also known as preferential subjects, were impact of emerging technologies, cybersecurity challenges, and packet-switched communication technologies. This year we had a total of 58 papers from 27 countries. This compared to 23 papers in the 2018 session, which represented a significant increase in the number of papers. In the first preferential subject, which was the impact of emerging technologies, we see interesting coverage in artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, ML. It is interesting to see that utilities worldwide are exploring the use of new and novel methods in condition-based maintenance to better predict the life cycle of utility assets using AI. Blockchain was also being explored as a technology to support peer-to-peer energy trading. This slide shows a proposed model for energy trading in paper D2121 from India, where a blockchain-based agreement system via the use of smart contracts can be used to facilitate energy trading agreements. The second preferential subject deals with cybersecurity in power utilities. The general trends observed in the issues discussed in the papers include improving the Security Operations Center, or the SOC, the use of machine learning and artificial intelligence for detection of intrusion, and cybersecurity issues surrounding electrical vehicle infrastructures. This slide shows one of the points of discussion in a paper by an Australian utility. The paper D2210 discussed the use of machine learning in cybersecurity anomaly detection and included a case study where the use of machine learning in cybersecurity has been successful. The third preferential subject in the e-session focused on packet-switched communication networks. The trends observed in the accepted papers indicated that protection over packet networks, along with time synchronization and migration from legacy to packet networks, are the main issues of interest to utilities. This slide shows the word cloud generated from all the papers in this preferential subject, which again shows an emphasis on protection. This was not a surprise because teleprotection systems are the most critical application on utilities' telecommunication network due to their mission-critical nature to maintain the safety of operation in the electricity network. Coupled with the fact that many utilities protection systems still rely on legacy telecommunication technologies nearing the end of their life cycle, a telecommunication migration strategy, which incorporates careful consideration of teleprotection systems, is of utmost importance. This slide shows a test setup in paper D2308 by an Australia power utility. The paper discussed the utility's experience in its various stages in planning, performing proof of concept and its results, plans for a field trial, and challenges and further opportunities in implementing teleprotection over a packet network. The main engine room of SIGRE is working groups, where representatives from utilities around the world collaborate in research, sharing of technical know-how and experience in the form of a technical brochure. Here we have 12 active working groups in D2, covering topics such as software-defined network, wireless communications, asset management, cybersecurity, and IoT. This slide shows the distribution of the global D2 contributors in the active working groups, with many regions around the world well distributed and represented. Since the last technical summary, we have had 2 technical brochures published, one which focused on smart meter system and another on cybersecurity. On the D2 Australia panel activities, this year due to COVID-19, the annual meeting which was to be held in New Zealand was substituted by online web conferencing, which was held over 2 days in July. The turnout was pretty good and we had 25 attendees, which was around the usual number of participants for the D2 panel meetings in previous years. The trends observed in Australia based on the D2 Australia panel meeting discussions were pretty similar to those observed internationally. The migration of legacy telecommunication network equipment and technologies continues to be an area of intense interest among Australian utilities. For some Australian utilities, there's a need to maintain their SDH and PDH networks, at least in the medium term, due to the large-scale use of some of these utilities networks, which mission-critical applications such as teleprotection still rely on. It is encouraging to see that Australian utilities continue to undergo a cybersecurity uplift. These effects are clear and observable through my 4 years as being the Australia D2 panel convener. Standards, recommendations and best practices such as the Australian Energy Sector Cybersecurity Framework or the AESCSF, the Australian Signals Directorate or the ASD recommendations, and well-known standards such as the ISO 27000 series play a big part in guiding local utilities in navigating the rapidly changing cybersecurity landscape. Australian utilities are also exploring new technologies available to them to improve their operations, including Internet of Things, virtualization technologies, battery systems for operational use, and 5G. Looking forward to 2021, we have our annual D2 panel meeting, which will be held in July. The location and format is still being determined, depending on the COVID-19 travel restrictions and the panel member company policies in travels and attending meetings. And in August, the SIGRE Centennial session will be held. In April 2022, the C6 and D2 Study Committee Symposium will be held in Tokyo. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time and attention. And if you have any follow-up questions or comments on this presentation, please feel free to reach out to me by emailing me on my email address on the first slide. Thank you.